Yo, what is up, guys, and welcome back finally to F1 Esports, but also to another YouTube video. We are back with F1 Esports round number 1, and for the first time in my career in F1 Esports, we're opening with a different race than Bahrain. As you can see, we're heading out into the pits around Melbourne for round number 1 of the F1 Esports series. And apologies, it's been 70 days since I last uploaded. The last video was Assetto Corsa Evo, if I remember correctly. And yeah, I just felt like it was necessary for me to full focus on F1 Esports rather than do content creation on the side. It was just a little bit too much for me to do F1 Esports full time and content creation, especially in the middle of the season. Also, I just moved houses and, you know, a lot of equipment, I kept having issues. So I was like, you know what, let's just take a break from content creation and focus fully on F1 Esports. And then after that, you can worry all you want about content creation and full focus on that again once the season is done. Anyway, let's go back to the video. F1 Esports round number 1. This is Q1, and Q1 lap 1 is always an interesting one at the start of the season, because a lot of new faces, a lot of people are going to be under high pressure, a lot of people are going to try and prove themselves, including us, of course, trying to win our 3rd F1 Esports title. We're going to head into the final 2 corners. Barry Burman with a 1:15.175. That's not a great lap from him. But yeah, he's still gonna get another shot in this qualifying session. Nicolas Longue goes 4/10 faster than his teammate Barry Burman. A 1:14.7, and that's more like it. My turn 1 was not great. But again, it's difficult through the turn 1-2 section because it's very easy to invalidate. And that will be your lap done. A little bit of a lock-up, mini lock-up into turn number 3, and then trying to correct the car as we head into sector 2. Difficult corner coming up. Gonna have to get on power early to carry as much speed as possible onto this quite long straight into sector 3. Sector 2 is basically only one corner and a long straight, so if you're fast in sector 2, that usually means around this track they've got a lowdown for setup on. Into the final sector we're gonna go. You can see we're half a tent up on Declan Barrett, but this final sector is where you can make up a lot of time. This is a crucial sector around the lap. A lot of low speed corners. You can make up a lot of time. You can see that was on the limit. Backhand wanted to step out on entry, but as we went on power, it gripped up nicely. Into the final 2 corners we're gonna go. Nicely on the apex, early on the power, and good traction through this final corner. And that was a very, very good lap, a very good end to the lap. Relatively to the start, I felt like it was a bit of a slow start to the lap, but we go P3, and with just a handful of people remaining finishing their laps, you can see we dropped to P4, but that was enough to make it into Q2, and that was only a single set of tires used right there, and that's gonna help us in Q3 later on. Joris Cruzen, Alvaro Carlton, Declan Barrett, Alfie Butcher, and Brendan Lee out in Q1 here, and yeah, they're gonna have a difficult task in the race because it's not an easy track to overtake, of course. Melbourne, street track, and not a lot of big braking zones, so that's going to be tough for them. Otis Lawrence in P1. I'm not sure. I think he had to use 2 sets of tires. The same for teammate Freddie Rasmussen. Thomas Runner, I think, had to use 2 sets as well. It was just me, Nicolas Longue, I think Ismail Fassi as well, that saved a set of tires. So not a lot of people saving a set of tires. Josh Idowu actually saved a set of tires as well. So on to Q2 we go then. Used set of tires on the car, so this is very much a not relevant run, especially considering this is a track where we use the softest compounds available, so the C5, that is an F124. And F125, there's going to be a new compound, which is going to be C6, which is going to be even softer than the C5. So yeah, the tire drop-off is quite huge, obviously, on the C5. And you can see that in the last sector, I was struggling for traction, struggling with the rear, especially through this corner. But on my first new set of tire, and I had quite a bit of understeer through there, and I felt like that costed me a tiny bit of lap time. But yeah, as you can see, gaining a lot of time relative to our used tires. We're going to open the DRS to come across the line, and it is going to be a 1:14.752. Puts us P6 at the moment, but still a few people that have to finish their laps. And the question is that going to be enough or is it not? Nonetheless, we're just going to go out again because P6 usually is not safe. We've dropped down to P8, and that means we're going to have to improve here on this final lap of Q2 if we want to make it into Q3 here around Melbourne for round 1 of the F1 Esports Championship. We cut turn 1 a lot, and we're instantly 400 up, so that is a good turn 1 too. Now into turn 3, let's see if we can improve even more. A little bit slow on entry, but no major damage done. I clipped the grass, unfortunately, on the entry there. Nearly spun out. Luckily, we managed to keep it on track, and importantly, not lose too much time. Now we have to start gaining time. Eventually, though, unfortunately, another slide. And somehow we've only lost 300. There's still all to play for here in Q2. Only 300 down. But we do have to start gaining time at some point because this P8 is probably not going to be enough. Through the flat out chicane we go. And somehow I've lost half a tenth through a flat out chicane. I could not believe it. But it is what it is. And yeah, now we just have to overdrive to make up for that time. And we're just two corners to go. We're 1.8 tenths down. And that's not going to be enough to improve on our lap time. We're P10 at the moment. And there's not a lot of people actually remaining to finish the laps. There's 4 people behind us left. And we're P10 at the moment. So all we can do now is pray that no one improves behind us, unfortunately. As I say that, we get dropped down to P11 and we're out in Q2, 1.300 behind Giorgi Dovu. We're in an Alpine sandwich. At the moment, Nicolas Longue, Lucas Blakely out as well, Fabrizio Donoso, Joni Tormela and ourselves out in Q2. Yeah, Longue was a bit of a surprising one because he had a really strong Q1. Both me and him both saved the set of tires in Q1. Josh did as well. And all 3 of us, actually Josh made it through, but yeah, and me and Longue both did not make it through, even though we saved the set of tires in Q1. So yeah, it's really about the moment, getting the lap together and not making any mistakes. But yeah, I just couldn't get the lap together. Small mistakes here and there, and then somehow I lost 600s through that fast chicane. So that was very much not ideal. In Q3, it was Ismail Fassi on pole position by 3,000 over our teammate Freddie Rasmussen in P2, Otis Lawrence P3 in his first ever F1 Esports qualifying session. Barry Bormand in P4, Istvan Pukki P5, Giorgi Dovu P6, Thomas Ronar P7, Danny Bresnay P8, Tom Manley P9, and Tamas Gal in his first ever qualifying in F1 Esports in P10 as well. Good job from him. So onto the race we're going to go then for round number 1 in the F1 Esports Championship. It's basically Ismail Fassi leading the championship at the moment before we even head into this race as well, because there is a pole position point this year in F1 Esports as well. So he's leading the championship before we even get turn 1 done in this race. It is going to be 5 red lights for round number 1 in the F1 Esports World Championship, and it's quite a poor getaway from us compared to Joni Tormela, but Joni is on the mediums. However, you can see straight away in turn 1, he has lost a piece of his front left end plate, and that gives us our position back that we lost at the start. So that's a little bit lucky for us, and he's going to be carrying around that damage either for the rest of the race or for the wall of this first stint. So that's going to be a long race for him. And in some way it helps us even more because he's on the faster medium tires at the moment, of course. But he's going to be slightly slowed down by that front wing damage. It is pretty much race over for him, but I think you can get away with it for quite a long time until the front tire wear is going to get way too much, and then it's gonna get worse and worse from there on. But yeah, a lot of medium runners behind Yoni as well, and he's gonna be holding them up as well, which shaves us a little bit again from them as well. So yeah, that is very ideal. P11 after starting P11 on the harder compound, so not much more we could have wished for in this opening lap. On to lap 7 we go then, and as you can see, still P11. Tom Manley has managed to overtake Thomas Gao, who is on the mediums, and those mediums seem to start fading away a little bit. So we're gonna try and do the same here and move past Thomas Gao into turn 3. We're gonna brake late around the outside, but yeah, I wasn't really far enough alongside to really carry that through into turn 4 and 5. So I decided to back out of that one and yeah, just waited out probably until the pit stop started happening, because yeah, someone already boxed at the end of lap 8, and yeah, you can see almost all of the medium runners boxing the end of lap 9, apart from Istvan Pukki, who is leading right now. But obviously once he pits for the hard compound of tires, he's gonna be dropping all the way to the back of that train potentially. So yeah, we're saving that set of the medium tires for later on, and we are going for a slightly longer first stint on the hards, obviously, because the mediums will not make it 20 or 21 laps in this race. So yeah, just making sure we are staying safe on track limits, and just catching up to Istvan Pukki and Tom Manley, because they are quite far ahead. But yeah, Tom Manley on the hard compound, same tire as me, expecting him to go longer in this race as well, of course, because I don't know exactly from the top of my head how long the mediums can go, but you can seriously see Istvan starting to struggle here after only 10 laps in this race. And yeah, Fabricio going longer behind me on those mediums as well. And then we've got Lucas Blakely, who I think started in P14 in P5 at the moment. Alfie Butcher up a position as well since Fabricio boxed. Now I think Istvan went until the end of lap 13 on those mediums, or maybe 12, can't remember exactly. But into the box we're gonna go for a new set of the mediums, which is quite early. 15 laps to go on this set, and you could see people struggle after 8, 9, 10 laps already.
Get back into action as fast as possible, so they don't lose too much time from this stop.
Yeah, that is very lovely, Crofty, but yeah, I really do not give a shit, especially when you're in the middle of an esports race and you're hearing that the head loss is there. But you can see Brendan Lee behind us. He currently has the fastest lap of the race on the hards. He started on the medium as well. But as we move on to lap 17, we have finally caught up to the group of the hard runners, and Fabricio got squeezed out a little bit there, which gives us the position. And now Tom Manley and Tamas Gal going side by side into the final 2 corners. It's not an easy track to overtake, and I think Tamas might have lost his front wing there, or at least a piece of his front wing. You can see the front right end plate is missing, and that's gonna make him struggle for the rest of this race for sure. So up to P10 we go with 12 laps to go, and now we need to try and find our way through on Tom Manley. I was thinking about it into turn 3, but he covers it off nicely under braking, and yeah, we just need to find a way through as fast as possible, because those mediums will start fading fast. So let's see what we can do. We got the fast lap of the race at the moment as well. Whoever has the fastest lap in the top 10 will get an extra point. So if someone sets a faster lap but he's P11, the person that got the fastest lap out of the fastest people in the top 10 still gets a point, even though someone out of the top 10 got a faster lap than him. It's different to real life F1. So it's just about getting the fastest lap out of the people who finished in the top 10. Anything else does not matter. As you can see, Josh Doe and Barry Bormand fighting side by side in this final sector. I'm trying to find a way through, but I just can't without taking a lot of risk. So yeah, 11 laps to go. We're gonna go on the attack again, and yeah, turn 1 is a tricky one. It's not a nice place to overtake because you go from a very wide corner entry to a very tight apex, and it's not nice to go side by side through there into turn 3. I was trying to find a way through again, just can't quite. And once again, we just have to settle for P10. We got Lucas Blakely right behind us. Now remember, he started in P14, and I think boxed 1 lap later than us. So yeah, he's had a good race so far, almost into the points. But obviously, we're gonna try and stop him. Now we're gonna go on the attack on Tom Manley again into the fast chicane. Unfortunately, can't quite find our way through into the final sector. So once again, we have to settle another lap for P10. And now Tom Manley is going to go on the attack on Josh Ido, who goes on the attack on Barry Bormand. And Barry gets squeezed off into the gravel, and now I almost made it 3 wide there. Luckily, I backed out just in time. Otherwise, that would have been race ending for sure and front wing damage. So yeah, I had to make a quick decision there. Am I going to make it 3 wide or not? And yeah, luckily I did not. And now up to P9 we go. We'll still need to find a way through on Tom Manley. Once again, using a bit of a battery on the exit there. I was thinking about it. However, all the way down the straight, I was like, you know what, I'm going to go for it into turn 3 around the outside. Unfortunately, Josh slightly missed his apex. And it gave me a little bit of dirty air on my front wing on the apex of turn number 3. So I had to back out again and wait another lap. Again, all these corners on this track, it's so tricky to go side by side. Once again, on the overtake button into the fast chicane, going around the outside. Unfortunately, we don't have the slipstream into the fast chicane, and once again, we have to settle another lap for P9, and our tires are starting to fade away. So we're gonna have to make some moves quickly if we want to move up this grid and have a chance at a podium position. Now Josh ahead of us, as Tom Manley has just overtaken him for P8, and we're gonna try and do the same, of course. You can see Josh flashing his rear light. That does not mean on this game anymore that you're below 10%. That just means he is charging his battery. Once again, we're gonna go for it into turn number 1. Can't quite get a run though, and once again have to settle for P9 for another corner as we get a track limit invalidation there at the start of lap 21. Now we're gonna go around the outside into turn number 3 around the outside. And you can see this time I do have some clean air on my front wing. Leave the space for Josh on the exit, of course. And we just got a better run out of that left-hander, which moves us up to P8. And now we got Tom Manley still ahead of us. He's on the same age tires. And ideally we move past him ASAP, of course. So once again, we're gonna go on the attack into turn number 3. We can choose either the inside or the outside. We go for the inside. Bit on the grass. We get the car slow down. Have to be careful not to run into the back of Otis Lawrence, of course. We go around the outside into turn number 4, and which turns to the inside for turn number 5. We touch, and we barely can keep it on the road, but it is P7. And another position gain. Now, we are behind Otis Lawrence. He's on the hard compound of tires, of course. Boxed a lot earlier than us, but the question is, do we still have a tire advantage? Lucas Blakely has managed to overtake Tom Manley for P8 as well. And yeah, let's see if we can make a move on Otis Lawrence. However, I think that track limit invalidation we got or 2 corners before we overtook Josh, I think that was our second track limit invalidation, which means if we get one more track limit invalidation, we get a 3-second time penalty. And the hard thing about this track is as well, is that the track limits are bound by the yellow line and not the white line. You can see them right next to each other on start finish here, on the left from us. And yeah, that makes it quite confusing when you're driving. So P7 it is. And now we're trying to find a way through an Otis Lawrence who sends it around the outside. We got our teammate Freddie Rasmussen ahead of us. And yeah, he just loses the backhand slightly. However, he lets us go into the right-hander. But that's where I got my second warning. I knew I had to do quite a few laps left with 2 warnings. And that was our second warning. However, that one maybe would have been removed. I'm not sure, but I just didn't want to take the risk. But yeah, Freddie's race went from, yeah, actually a solid start to just falling through the order slightly. Got squeezed off a few times as Nicolas loses the car on entry. We just about avoid him at the apex. And that was crucial to avoid because that could have been a potential 8, 10, 12 points gone if I went for the apex there. And yeah, in such a tight championship, you cannot afford to lose 10 points. Those 10 points might be very, very important come the end of the year. Into turn 3, we're going to go, still trying to find my way through an Otis Lawrence, but I had in the back of my mind as well, you know, 2 warnings. You start at P11, you're on P6, stuff might still kick off in front of you. Let's just take the P6, you know. Let's try and keep Alfie behind. We've got a full battery, so let's keep Alfie behind. Here's a penalty, not sure if it will stay, of course, and take the 9 points. You know, we got the fastest lap as well. However, you can see Thomas Ronner and Danny Bresner going side by side, wheel banging through that almost flat out chicane, and this gives us the run into the last sector of this race. Up to P5 we go. Otis has gone wide into one of the last corners of the race, and we move up to P4 with only 3 corners to go, and suddenly we've gone from P6 to P4, 2 positions handed to us, and that is going to be 13 points instead of 9. Thank you very much. And
nice one, very lovely drive. On to the next one.
And that shows how important it was to avoid Nicolas there, because that could have been 0 points, and we ended up scoring 13 points. Crucial for the championship. And yeah, Freddie's still coming home in P10. Score an extra point for the team. Disappointing for him, of course, because he started in P2 and was one of the fastest, if not the fastest driver out there. You saw it in qualifying. P2 only 3 thousandths away from Ismail Fassi, who ended up winning the race as well after getting pole position. So that's 26 points for him. Very, very good start for him. 2 Hungarians on the podium, actually, with Istvan Puki in P2. Danny Bresnay right ahead of us in P3. So yeah, solid start after qualifying in P11. And yeah, that's all we needed. A solid start to the championship. Starting P11 on a street track, not easy to overtake. P4 almost feels like a win, but it's not quite a win. And that's what we're going to try and do in the next few races. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time. Ciao.